Warning, this show contains content that might make you laugh. If you're offended, them boys want you to know that they're sorry. Hell, who am I kidding? Them boys don't care about nothing. Enjoy the show, folks.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Last Slice Podcast. It's your boy, Bodega Cat, Chill Boy in the Cut.
Yo, what's going on, internet?
Jimbo the Kid.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, fellas?
Hello.
What's
Bing
up?
bong.
What's up, Chill Boy?
What's up?
You know, we're going to get right into that. I'm glad that you hit that button. I'm very glad that you hit that button because I don't think the rest of the world understands that New York is a staple. We are the epicenter of the world, right? We're the top dog, right? People think of United States, they think New York. They don't think anywhere else. And I get criticized daily on my mannerisms and on the way I act and talk and speak and move because I'm from New York. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Right? For example.
You see it a lot when you go travel outside the state.
Yes.
When you're outside the state, not so much the tri-state area, because a lot of people were from New York and they probably moved to Jersey or Connecticut. But if you go like anywhere down south,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you
Florida.
go out west, man, they pick it up and they call you out on it automatically. They know you're not from you're not a local.
In Florida all the time. You got an accent. No, you got an accent.
Yeah.
I ain't got an accent. You got an accent.
It's like the Spider-Man meme, like pointing fingers at each other. Like,
Yeah. Stop telling me I got an accent.
it's like crazy.
Y'all got an accent. I just wanted to point out some of the few staples of being a New Yorker and what makes us the best. Like, number one, we know how to use our turn signals.
Yeah. Ish.
Right.
Ish.
Because the minute you go into Manhattan, that law is out the window.
That goes right out the window.
Especially those taxi drivers, the one with the
my
TLC
God.
plates with the
Yes.
Toyotas.
Yes.
Oh my
Those
God.
guys, I don't know what kind of insurance they have, but boy, do they risk it. They risk it every single time.
Yep.
But people call me out all the time when I'm driving. They're always like, why are you such an aggressive driver? Why are you so aggressive? You New Yorkers are so aggressive. And I just tell them, have you ever driven through Manhattan?
Yeah.
Manhattan's that part of the woods that your parents and your family tells you when you're young, don't go in the woods, don't go in there.
Yeah, it's such a war zone driving in the city that you can literally put it in your resume. No, seriously, you can drive in the city. It really is a resume worthy skill.
Does Uber or DoorDash or any of them pay extra for that?
I don't know, but like, let's say if you
I don't
wanted to
know.
be a courier or like, you know, you go anywhere else in the United States, you could definitely put down like drive in like a city zone, especially like Manhattan. And if it's like involve you delivering stuff, they'll be like, yeah, you're hired, you know, because we can parallel park, you know.
Got that New York City delivery driving skills on the resume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, people call me out all the time. They're like, you're such an aggressive driver. Oh, you're such a New Yorker. Oh, you New Yorkers drive crazy. I'm like, have you ever been to the city? Have you ever
Seen Florida drivers
have you ever driven to Manhattan? Florida, there's no rules.
on the highway?
There's no such thing as rules. First of all,
Talking about us being crazy.
Florida's got a 70 mile per hour speed limit on some certain highways.
And then the fast lane is like 90 something.
Yeah. That
I have to say, when I drove last 2 years ago to South Carolina, once we got to, because we were switching on and off driving, once we got into Virginia, let me tell you something. I drive fast, especially in New York. I don't go the speed limit on the left-hand lane. These guys, their speed limit was 70.
Wow.
They're going 100
Yeah.
on the left-hand lane. And if you're not moving, they're riding right behind you, close. And I'm like, you're going 100, okay?
Yeah.
And you're right on my ass.
Yeah.
Like you guys trust each other while you're driving? I don't know.
Crazy.
But the minute someone breaks or like a squirrel runs across the roadway, it's over for all of us.
Brake check.
It's done. Yeah.
Brake check.
It was intimidating. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, because I drive fast.
Yeah.
But these people, they were just hauling 100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez.
Like, do they not have any fear of like a deer running out on the road? Like, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Nah,
you
come on,
trust.
Bobby. We gotta go get the propane.
I drive. I try to drive safely as possible. So I do the 2-car length.
Yeah.
Just because I don't trust anybody driving. You know, I trust myself. I don't trust anybody else. So I give a 2-car length. But going 100 miles per hour and being that close to someone, you're like within a car's length, like half of a car. That's crazy.
And especially if someone just like breaks, like
Just a little bit.
Out
of nowhere.
If I die, we all going.
It's a Fast and Furious movie now.
It's all about family.
it's family.
It's all about family. Where's Toretto when we need it?
Hit the knobs, baby.
Yeah, but not only driving, like a lot of people have pointed it out to me, they're like, oh, you're such a reckless New York driver. I'm like, no. I'm like, because the thing is, New York, we drive offensive.
Yeah.
Like those offensive driving courses don't do nothing for us.
Just lower your insurance.
Yeah, just
That's why I
lower
do
your
it.
insurance, right?
That's it.
But we drive offensively, where it's like, if I'm going to die, we both going to die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that, like, there's a reason why we have no fault insurance in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they know. And free, free windshield exchanges too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Repairs.
Yeah.
Because they know that everything's under construction and they don't know when it's going to be over. So
Yeah.
Got rocks jumping up. left and
should be
right.
pothole tire insurance too.
Another major staple is just our food. Pizza, bagels, bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, people don't understand that. You know, like working in the airport, I see people bringing Taylor ham all the time down to Florida, all the time, because they're just like, yeah, we can't get Taylor ham in Florida. I'm like, that should be a sin.
Yeah. Bagels
Taylor
too.
ham, yeah, bagels, pizza, all the time. Everyone always asks me, why does New York have the best pizza? It's the dirty water. I'm telling you right now, it's the dirty water.
I got a question for you guys. Why do you guys why are you proud New Yorkers? What makes you guys proud to be a New Yorker? Because New Yorkers are very prideful people.
Nah, I would
No
just
matter
say
where you go.
like it's what you call it. It's not easy living here, you know. Like we go through all the ins and outs.
It's a survival.
Yeah, we have like that crazy survival instinct. Just like the culture.
Yeah.
It's like a whole giant melting pot. It's like literally maybe the only spot in the world where everyone's like mingling together and there's like really like no
We don't have the same
heat
issues.
or anything like that, you know?
We don't have the same issues that other states have.
No, like everyone's like cool with each other, you know? Like
Yeah.
everyone's a homie and stuff. Everyone has like their peoples and stuff. Like I don't know. I just feel like everyone's in tune with each other, you know?
Yeah.
And like if shit goes left, like we all band together and like get shit done in the city and whatnot and around the area
Yeah.
and stuff.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just, I'm proud of living in New York and being a New Yorker because of what we accomplish as a state and the things that we have and things that we do that I go somewhere else in the world and I'm like, what the fuck y'all doing? Like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, given it that, we have horrible mayors sometimes, maybe a few governors here and there, but at the end of the day, it's the people here. Like, we put shit together. We build shit. You know, like, look at our buildings. Like, everyone says, oh, everything's big in Texas. No, come to New York. It's a different lifestyle here. You know, some of the laws we have are different. It's just, it's a different environment. And everyone says, oh, New York is so fast. You guys are so, you know, oh, so quick. Everything's got to be quick. Yeah, that's how life should be. Life's short. Do everything quick and in the moment and one thing at a time. And you got to understand, like, living here, like I said from the start, we're the epicenter of everything, right? You go anywhere else in the world, right? Florida. What you got? Disney? Orlando? Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's all right. You got beaches? Okay. We got beaches too. You know,
Yeah.
You go to Virginia. What are you going to do there? Hunt? Go to Busch Gardens? You know, you go to Wisconsin. What are you going to do there? Get cheese? You go to Colorado. What are you going to do there? Smoke some weed?
Well, I'm gonna fight back on you with that one.
You
Right?
know?
Because the same way people look at us, like our lifestyle's crazy.
Right.
I've been watching the TV show Yellowstone
Okay.
on Peacock and Paramount, And I have to say, I am jealous of their lifestyle.
Really?
Yeah. And they might say the same with their lifestyle, that they would want to have a change and live in an inner city or live in a city area. But I am very jealous of them because their job is very hard, like cattle ranchers and stuff like that. But the scenery is beautiful. Like, you're talking to outdoorsmen. Some people are different. Like me, I'm just like born and raised in the inner city. Somebody made a comment because they're, you know, a lot of New Yorkers, wealthy New Yorkers, are moving to Montana and stuff. And one of the guys was from New York, and he was a wealthy person, and he was just like, New Yorkers, they don't see the horizon.
Right.
They don't know what the sun looks like.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's all buildings. And it's true. Because, you know, wouldn't you want to be like, oh, look how beautiful this mountain is? You know, we don't have that.
Right.
You know, so when you're watching that, you're like, oh, shit, I want that. I want to be this. I want to be a fucking cowboy.
You know what I think it is? We have a TikTok view of the world from living in New York, right? So in other words, everything for us is a few seconds, right? So we get a sunrise, but it's like, done, right? You get just a little pitch of it. Yeah. But we get a little bit of everything. Yeah. You know, you want to see nature, go to Bear Mountain, upstate New York. It's not that bad. You know,
it's different though.
You want to see snow, you go to Buffalo. Yeah. But out there, you wake up in the morning, it's cock-a-doodle-doo, sunrise, grass for days, trees everywhere.
You can just go grab a beer or whiskey, sit on your patio, and you're just chilling. Yep. You're watching like the sunset. Yep. In a beautiful valley.
And your neighbor is like 3 miles away at least. Yeah. Versus being right next to each other, all crowded up.
And that's why a lot of New Yorkers are moving out of New York and going to these states, because they're realizing like, wow, you know, I don't have a view of a building or someone taking a shit off on a subway track, you know?
But you know what's the problem, though? And I've noticed this when I've traveled. Leaving New York, the silence when you sleep is so damaging. Sometimes I can't fucking sleep. I just can't, you know? Like I can't do it. If I don't hear birds chirping and whatnot, like if I don't hear subway trains and cars honking and ambulances, like the silence, it's scary. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and it's kind of like the
I had a conversation with someone who lived in Indiana, and he just couldn't wrap my head that I lived in the Bronx, and he was just like, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, why is it that when like firefighters deploy and the truck deploys, they automatically put their sirens on? He was like, I couldn't do that. I was like, you know, it's a lot of people, a lot of cars on the road. Right. They have to make way because it's and everything's so congested. They have no choice. From the get, you have to get to that spot, and you have to get. There's a lot of traffic, heavy traffic, and it's out. They have to respond. Yeah. You know, and they put the sirens on, and he's like, I just can't do that. Where I'm from, they don't do that. Yeah. They put the sirens when they get to the location or if they need to do it. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting because I never knew it's, you know, different. I thought I would have assumed that any other fire truck they're coming out blazing, ready, lights on, sirens going. And he was like, no. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Now over here, the minute they get out the lot,
it's gone.
The door's not even up yet.
Not even up yet. It's like woo, 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 like literally halfway through.
Like, and the horn, and the horn, and it shakes the ground. Yeah. The NYPD horn, like you, if you're from New York, you know the NYPD has this ground rumbling siren, and you know, get the fuck out the way. You can feel it. It's by vibration.
Is it the siren that sounds like a fucking UFO or some shit like that? Yeah. It's like I can't even explain.
You can't explain it.
Like,
No, it's not. It's not.
Like, it's
like a. It's like a vibrate. It's a weird sound. Yeah, but it's so that you can feel it's like a vibration. You can feel it in your car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We have up in the suburbs that remember that sound that I used to always say. It sounds like two animals humping. It'd be like dun 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 dun. It's like at 6 p.m. every day by us. I don't know what it's for. It's a firefighter thing. I just don't know what it's for. But
streets of NYC.
Yeah, this is the sounds.
You hear this all the time.
NYC.
This is life.
Yeah, that's normal. That's a normal siren.
Normal.
But when they get close to someone and somebody's not moving.
Wah, wah.
Oh no, it didn't happen.
No.
Those
Those are
cars
the ones that do it.
that have it. Oh, you got that one.
The phaser. Yeah.
There you go. You hear it? The it's a vibe. You can feel it. You can, well,
It's crazy.
There's like a louder, weird one. It like literally sounds like a UFO or some shit like that. Trying to see if they have it. They normally do it on the street. State troopers.
There it is.
Yeah, I think I heard it.
it's like a
hum.
It's like a hum.
Yeah.
Speaking of, since we're on the topic
Yeah,
of
I was gonna-
NYPD,
yeah.
rest in peace to the 22-year-old officer
yeah.
that had passed away recently, who
Yep.
got shot by a fucking asshole criminal.
Showed
in
up to-
Harlem.
What was it in Harlem?
Yeah, he showed up to a domestic. The guy was 47 years old, and apparently, as soon as they opened the bedroom door, man just started blasting.
22 years old.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Year on the job.
Yeah, he was
Killed.
It was a
brand
rookie.
new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, young kid, 22 years old.
See, so what I was gonna say is, people ask me like, "Oh, how come New York City and New York in general, when all this Black Lives Matter, right, and the hate against the police was going on, they said there was protests and riots in New York City, but they're like, it wasn't as large scale or as advertised as the rest of the world, right?" And they asked me like, how is that? They're like, they didn't understand it, and I explained to them. I said, you have to understand. You go down south, right? You go to those other states, right? Those little states where everything is black and white, right? Black and white in all those other states, right? You come to New York and New York City, it's black, white, red, blue, brown, purple, green, indigo. We're a melting pot. We got every color of race under the sun. We hate each other equally. We don't discriminate against one. We discriminate against everybody.
Yeah.
But we get along. That's the whole thing in New York. We got every single color, race, and we just get along.
Yeah. I because this is the first time, I'm sorry, but so Trill just pulled up the press conference that they had in the hospital for the 22-year-old, and there was another police officer that was also wounded, fighting for his life at that moment while they were talking. This is the first time we're hearing the new mayor speak on behalf, and he's wearing a police jacket because what's his name, Eric Adams, was once a police officer. The city is burning recently, and it's crazy because history always repeats itself. So if you go back into the 70s, the Bronx was burning,
Literally.
and then what happened recently, there was a Bronx Fire where 19 people passed away. They burned in this building. And it's just, there's some symbolism there of what the people went through in the 70s. Not saying that people are intentionally burning buildings to claim insurance to get money. Mm-hmm. This is a different thing. But you have, this is the fourth officer that's been shot in the past 5 days. Mm-hmm. You had a little kid who got shot in the face.
Yep.
A little girl who was shot in New York in Times Square. Broad daylight. All these shootings are up. Let me ask you guys a question. How do you fix this problem? How do you fix a city that has the strictest gun laws in the United States and people are still getting hands on weapons, illegal weapons? How do you fix it?
I don't know. I feel like they got to get rid of that whole defund the police shit, to be honest.
I was going to say,
we said it in the beginning. That just
That doesn't
doesn't
work.
make sense.
It makes no sense.
There's a power struggle. If you remove some power, especially from police, then what you're telling to the criminals is like, well, they got their hands tied now, and what are criminals going to do? They're going to capitalize on moments and use it to their advantage.
Yep.
It's just a power struggle. That's all it is. So these neighborhoods are going to now lean towards crime.
Yep.
And doing things illegally, going to the black market. It's the same thing in prohibition. You made alcohol illegal. So now the sales of alcohol is going to double because it's illegal. So when we're talking about weapons, the amount of shootings that are happening daily in the city itself is astronomical, right? And I think one of the politicians said we have to go after the gun manufacturers. Huh?
No.
Well, we're going to go after the gun manufacturers. So what, do you take away guns, period?
Right.
And who are the ones who are going to be left with the weapons? State and federal agencies. Mm-hmm. So that people now can't. That's the only reason why, after you guys seen this,
Yeah.
during the whole pandemic, Canada had issues, Australia had issues, Britain had issues, and they have strict gun laws with their citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Look at Australia. They couldn't fight back. What are they fighting back with? Rocks? Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I saw a guy shooting an arrow.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
Remember that?
Yep.
Remember that
Remember
footage?
that. Yeah.
He had a bow and arrow that he was using. You know, I was having this conversation with my father the other day. I was big into like why people should own guns. Why? That doesn't make sense. Past 2 years, seeing what the government's been doing to the people, and in other countries too, where people can't defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? They might have the tanks, they might have the bombs, they might have all these bigger guns. But it's good. I sleep well at night knowing that I can defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can go down with a fight than just standing there throwing rocks at somebody.
Yep.
You understand? So it's like I don't want to take it too extreme to that level.
Yeah.
But we've seen countries get to that level recently. You know, and that whole gun manufacturer should be just removed off the table.
And I feel like that whole thing has been like a part of like the birth of this country, you know? Like it was implemented in the what was it, the Constitution and stuff like that. Like you should be able to defend yourself, like especially on your own property and stuff. Like what are you supposed to do if like someone comes onto your property or in your home with a loaded gun? What are you supposed to do? Use like a knife? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, what the fuck?
What do you think?
We need Batman. We need a vigilante.
Did you guys see what I posted up on my Instagram today? That the United States is becoming more like Gotham.
Yeah.
And you see the pictures of all these politicians.
It is.
Yep.
It's just like Gotham.
Bro,
Yep.
It's Gotham. It really is.
what is going on?
My thing is, you have people out here, the rest of the world, where they have school shootings, right? Not really big in New York. That doesn't happen too often here, right? But in the rest of the world, and the kids are complaining, we have metal detectors in our schools. Come to the Bronx, where you're from. You grew up with metal detectors, right? Mm-hmm. That's been a staple since you were a kid. We're talking 10, 20 years ago. And now the rest of the world wants to complain. They don't understand that there's like a serious issue in these certain areas that, you know, maybe it's not the manufacturers, my friends. It's not the manufacturers.
It's the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta. It's the community itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way these kids are growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's basically what it comes down to. It stems down to a deeper issue that is not. It's not the. And I know people who own weapons legally, right? Law-abiding citizens, and they take their firearms very seriously. Talk about they buy safeties, they buy gun locks.
America.
They go and they learn. They go and they go to these classes, and they're very vigilant about how they go about. And there are some, you know, careless people who own guns. You know, let's not, forget about those people. But the people that I know who own weapons, they take it very seriously. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that you're going to take away their rights when they're out here doing the best they can, following the laws, following the rules, doing as much as they can. And, you know, you're blaming a weapon. Like, you've never seen someone, you get a firearm, you put it on a table, it's not going to shoot somebody.
No.
Right?
It's the person
behind the weapon.
Yeah. And it's like a shame because you have people who are super responsible with that stuff, like with like the weapons and all that, for all these like bad apples out here just fucking it up for everyone else,
Bad apples
and shit.
Yep.
So, but like how I see it with like this whole situation with like the city and all that, I feel like they need to get rid of like that whole mindset of defund the police, put more money into a program where like the law enforcement builds a relationship with the communities, so people don't have this picture of like, oh, the police are evil, this and that. Have like a whole program, have like a whole community thing, like have them be a part of the community, have them be a part of that whole thing, so people feel comfortable about with them being on the streets and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's how I feel about like that whole situation and stuff like that. So,
what about you? What do you if you had to fix all of this, the gun violence in New York City, how would you go about it?
Specifically New York City?
Well, yeah, just keep it local, general, because Chicago's going through the same thing. They've been going
Chicago's
through.
like
It's a whole different story.
Chicago's the Wild Wild West. Let's get it straight. They're the Wild
Dude,
Wild.
they had a
Wild Wild West.
A fucking firefight.
Yeah.
71 rounds.
Yeah.
And the city was just like
With assault rifles.
they called it a mutual combat.
Mutual combat.
They had a Wild Wild West shooting in the middle of the street.
You know what's the craziest thing I've seen? And it's starting to come up here. It's the first time I've ever seen this in my 32 years on this earth. The malls, right, by me, now have signs on the doors that say no weapons allowed. I literally was going in and out, and I couldn't believe I saw that. First time I've ever seen that on, just had a big picture of a gun with the little, no slash symbol. And it said no guns allowed, no weapons allowed. I was like, that's the first time I've ever seen that in my life.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. I don't want to go after the manufacturers. I don't want to restrict, our rights as citizens in order to bear arms, but I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, because what do you do to the people, right? You're going to say, oh, we're going to make it harder for them, right? We're going to make it, the background check's going to be harder. It won't be 48 hours. We'll make it like 72 hours or 2 weeks before you can get cleared or whatever. But are you infringing upon now my rights as my right to bear arms?
Yeah.
like, what like the main root of it all is like, it all comes down to like, I guess like the gang violence and all that. And the way I feel and how it all started was because the government failed us. And communities feel like government and all these like inner city like governments, they failed us and they continue to fail us. So the way I feel like how they like the gangs out there, they felt like they have to do this to support their communities and stuff, some type of way or whatever.
Arm their community.
Yeah, something like that. That it's their way of like, all right, if they're not going to do anything, we're going to do something, And it's just time and time again, like the government just fails us. And like, look at like the situation now, like with like the whole COVID pandemic, like it's still hitting people hard and stuff like that. And it's like crazy. Like I had like a whole conversation when I was just doing a delivery the other day in Jersey City to this one one lady that lives over there, and pretty much just having a whole conversation about like how the government's just failing everything, especially this dude in office right now. And what shocked me was that she was like a Trump supporter, like she was all cool with him and stuff like that, and I agree with her. I was like, she was like, at the end of the day, homie got us the money, got us the things that we needed. He ran the country like a business and fought for everyone to get them stimulus checks and all this other programs and whatnot, because people were pretty much like messing around with the money behind the scenes, like using for whatever else and whatnot. And she was just telling me like people were looking at her crazy because she voted for Trump. And I was just like, I don't blame you. Like,
yeah,
the man did what he did and whatnot for us. And then look at us now. Like, there's like no food on the shelves. Inflation is crazy.
Gas prices are
gas prices are going up.
There's no dog food in stores.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Dog
it's
food.
just, they don't want to talk about that. They don't. They don't want to discuss those type of issues.
But hey, you could get vaccinated any day of the week, man. Whenever you want, just go right on down. You can get a test any day of the week. But I can't get milk, eggs, bread, cheese, chicken, or dog food.
Yeah.
It's terrible out there, bro.
What?
Like, I had like a moment with this one customer, and I was just like, just seeing it firsthand. I was just like, damn, like, this is the real shit right here. Like, what's going on and whatnot. And yeah, man, it was like a huge eye opener.
You saw what Domino's did? That advertisement they made?
What, paying other local
pizzerias? Yeah. Every time someone ordered, they were giving money to the local pizzeria because they were like, "No, we're fine. We're going to give it to them."
Yeah, well, because it's a corporation.
Kudos to Domino's.
They could afford. Yeah. Back to what you're saying about the government failing the people. There was a great video that I was watching, and this is a great show that was out with the late Michael K. Williams. Shout out to him for doing this show. It's called Black Market on Vice. And the beginning of Black Market, Michael K. Williams says this quote, and it really resonates with me because I can understand why some people do the things that they do, especially criminals. And the quote literally says, when the system fails you, you create your own system. Yep. Okay? And that's to your point. And there was one video, because we're talking about gun violence. He was interviewing this kid in Chicago who's a gangbanger. And while he was doing his interview, he had, a mask on, fitted hat or whatever. And he was asking him, why are you a gang member? And the kid basically said, I don't know. Like, when you go down to the root of it, he just doesn't know.
Right.
And at the end of the interview, when the cameras were off, the kid looked at him and he was like, hey, man, please take me with you. Please get me out of here. And he was crying for help. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, a week later, kid got killed.
Yep.
If that's not a sad story, and there's a lot of kids like that. There's a lot of people out there like that are looking for help. They just don't know how to. And if there was something in place for these kids to go, the YMCAs, doing these community things where these kids who need help, they go get help, they go get legit help. Someone's there, arms wide open. What do you need and how can I get you there? That's all they need is guidance. Yeah. Because if they're not getting it in the home front, they need somebody. They need a place. They need a beacon to go to. And go into those those places and be like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I'm scared that I'm not going to make it.
What's up, Last Slice listeners? It's Skaggs from the Two Doomed Men podcast. If you enjoy the Doughboys show, you should also check out ours, where the captain and I discuss and debate politics, news, and culture with a skeptical but open mind. We also review beers, movies, TV shows, and other cool stuff. You can find the Two Doomed Men podcast on all the major platforms and on all forms of social media. Just search Two Doomed Men or go to linktree.com/Two Doomed Men. Thanks, and now let's get back to the show.
I think right now the scariest thought, and I'm gonna put this on the table for y'all. Growing up, we had 9/11, right? That was the big bang for us. Imagine being a kid right now in today's society. Imagine being 12 years old right now, seeing all this, experiencing all this.
Yeah.
Like learning about college and student loans and all this stuff. Imagine how messed up this generation's going to be. Like the generations after them, we've already said they eat Tide Pods, they're screwed, right? Yeah. But I'm talking about the little kids right now that are going through this right now. I feel terrible for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what it's like to do virtual training. I don't know what it's like to not be able to go to school, not have to wear a mask in school. I don't know what it's like to be like, there's no milk for my cereal. Like, I've never experienced that as a kid. That never happened to us. We didn't we had the world, you know? And now this younger generation has to go through this stuff, especially with all these shootings and whatnot. It's just like, we didn't deal with that.
And they're mostly coming from, either gang members or just make no mistake, back to your point with the defunding of the police. You can't do it because they're career criminals. That's all they want to do. It's just that they're mean people. They're evil, violent people. Yeah. And how do you stop them? right? How do you stop them? And there's some individuals that they don't know why they're in a gang and they don't know what they're doing, and they're scared for their life and they want to get out. So like how do you another thing on the home front, they don't have parents. So maybe they don't have a father figure, they don't have a mother figure, that single parent is out there working 2-3 jobs and they can't be home because they have to support their household and their family.
Yeah.
So there's nobody there helping.
There's no infrastructure. At all.
There's no infrastructure and there's no parental vision or guidance that they're giving their kids.
Yeah.
And that's also a huge factor into why these kids flock towards being in a group environment.
Because they feel like that's like family and like a home, you know?
Yeah, and they look up to, like, let's say the alpha male of the group, and he's just like, yo, I want to be this guy.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing he's ever going to know.
They're going to be like, oh, I want to be just like him, doing all the stuff that he has. Like, let's say if he has like all the girls, he has the nice car, this and that, like, but it's all from the wrong reasons, you know? Like, it's crazy. That's why I feel like they need to implement some type of program in the communities to give better role models for everyone to see and grow up with it so they don't fall down that path, you know? Like,
we had it growing up. What happened to the DARE program?
Yeah, I mean, they get rid of these programs because they say,
what happened to the DARE program?
We can't fund them because this is a bureaucratic system.
Yeah.
That money doesn't trickle down. Because the person who's head of that department or head of these, federal funded or state funded, city funded programs, that top person is making a shit ton of money on their salary. And it don't trickle down. So they'd rather cut the program to save money from them sacrificing their salary. And they rather screw the kids over than to do these things. And the government, there's a real problem with the way cities, states, and the whole United States is being run right now.
It's a lot of sticky fingers. People taking too much out of the pot when they're not supposed to, just so they can get a bigger check. This and that, like, it's crazy, man. Like, it's nuts. Like, just seeing it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because in the city we have the strictest gun laws.
It's hard to get a gun.
It's hard to get a gun in the city.
Easy.
It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all.
It's not like me. I could walk down to a Walmart or something and probably 24 or 48 hours get cleared. Sometimes earlier than that, you know?
But I don't know. Have you saw that one episode with that guy from Vice?
Mackie K. Williams.
Yeah, with the gun one.
Yeah, the gun runners.
Yeah, so they're pretty much getting the guns from down south and stuff like that. Like, there's just like people, I think it's like down in Georgia or something like that, where they're able to like just rack up a whole bunch of like guns and stuff. And then there's a runner from up north that goes down, picks up the weapons, and they bring them back up. Stuff like that. That's how it's mostly
That's how it's done?
on.
No,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Whatever happened.
I think they go down to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's down in Atlanta.
Atlanta's like the most where they just, I guess it's like lenient laws over there. Or there's people, the private gun shows, they just, I'll give you cash right now. And they're going to take cash.
Yep, they do that. They rack up over there, or they know like a connect or like a family member or someone down there that could easily get the weapons. They get it, they bring it back up, and that's how it happens. Like, it's crazy. It's like nuts.
Crazy.
So,
What a time.
so
to be
if
alive.
so if we could play that, because he, the mayor Adams, he explains how they're going to go about stop. He basically says he's going to ask for the federal government for assistance to stop the guns from coming inside the city, because he addressed that issue. So this is the press conference at the hospital.
Normally, when we do briefings like this,
Yeah, I got it on one side of
just
my
the
ear.
police officials who stand at this podium. I did not want that tonight. I wanted everyone to be in this same room. I wanted everyone to be here to understand. It is our city against the killers. It is our city against the killers. This was just not an attack on 3 brave officers. This was an attack on the city of New York. And it's an attack on the children and families of this city. And we are not going to win this battle by dividing lines between us. We must save this city together. That is what we must do. An 11-month-old baby was shot just a few days ago. 5 officers were shot in this city. The unification of fighting this battle goes beyond the debate and rhetoric. It is time for us to save our city. And we are going to need everyone on the same page to accomplish this task. And let me be clear, there are no gun manufacturers in New York City.
Facts.
We don't make guns here. How are we removing thousands of guns off the street and they still find their way into New York City? In the hands of people who are killers, constantly carving highways of death, destroying our communities. We need Washington to join us and act now to stop the flow of guns in New York City and cities like New York. We're all witnesses. We have witnessed these murders, and we have witnessed the failure on a federal level to stop the flow of guns to this city. We are not going to live under the gun of dangerous people in New York City. We're going to honor the memory of this officer lost to gun violence by standing united against these killers and those who are arming them. They're co-conspirators to the violence that we are witnessing in New York City. No one will divide this city with their violence. In fact, they're going to unite us to come together and end this. We're going to find these guns, and we're going to find those who carry them and use them. We are committed to ending this violence. My heart goes out to these families who are experiencing such a traumatic experience. I go back to the days of thinking of Robert Venable, my close colleague who died in the line of duty. And I remember my mother calling because she was unsure if it was one of her sons who was the victim of that shooting. And even after she heard it was not Bernard or Eric, she still had to hold her breath because she knew one of our brother officers was slain. And right now, every mother in this city feels the loss that this family is experiencing. We must commit ourselves to stop the debate and the dialogue and come together and realize a gun on our street is a threat to our safety. And we must do everything possible to remove that gun. And Commissioner, I thank you. I know how painful this is for you right now. And I thank these men and women who wore that uniform, wear the uniform that I wore. And countless number of times we had to go to hospitals and visit loved ones. We had to knock on doors and tell family members they lost their family to gun violence. And now you have to do it with one of your own. But I'm going to ask you something. No matter how painful this moment is, don't give up on these people in this city. Don't give up. Don't feel as though that they don't want you to do your job. Twitter and Instagram and social media, they're not the people you're protecting. They want you here to do your job. No matter who's the mayor, no matter who's the governor, no matter who's the elected official, You have done your job, and let's continue to do so. Let's protect the people of this city and not allow anger to get in our way of protecting those who are living with this violence every day. We are going to protect our city. That's our promise and commitment. It's a painful moment for us. Every time the commissioner and I had to visit a hospital, from January 1st, seeing an officer shot in the head, seeing an officer shot in the leg, on Staten Island, responding to a domestic dispute. It's a painful moment.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Eric Adams' press conference. Yeah.
He's not wrong. It's like you said, there's no gun manufacturers in New York City. Where's it coming from?
You know, the way I see it, the way I interpret things is I don't have a firearm. It's because it's hard. I mean, I could get one, but I mean, you're allowed a handgun in your house, in your home, shotgun in your home.
Right.
And, you know, excuse me, sorry, I apologize. So you're only allowed certain type of weapons in your home.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone was to break into your home, the courts are so strict that you have to, if you fired your weapon and you shot someone and killed someone, you better make sure that there's evidence that that person was coming after you and almost near taking your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everything stacked up against you, right? My solution is very simple. The only way you stop someone, a bad guy with a gun, is a good guy with a gun.
Right.
It's the only way.
Right.
It's the only way because it's getting tiring now.
Right.
Especially a good person when you hear a young kid getting shot. Cards are off the table now.
Yeah.
Give the good guys a gun.
Yeah.
Let us get guns.
Yeah.
So we can protect our community and our families. I mean, it's extreme. It's an extreme measure. But how many years have we been talking about this?
Yeah.
Since the fucking 70s.
Yeah. And compare it to other states that do open carry.
It's not working.
You know?
Right? We can say, like you say, it's failed. The government's failed us.
Yeah.
Under constitutional law, right to bear arms is for everyone, especially criminals. It's universal. It's your right.
Yeah.
So therefore, good guys should have guns to face bad guys.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. You know how you just mentioned that when you shoot them, you better hope and pray that the courts can prove that it was in self-defense, right? It's unfortunate, but there's a funny TikTok going around about it, right? You ever seen those TikToks where the guy goes, I break into your home, what are you going to do? Right? There was one response that I saw that was hilarious, but it's actually the sad truth. The guy goes, well, I know I'll do a lot less time for a rape charge than I will for a gun charge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the video just cuts off right there. But there's a bunch of them like that, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's funny how if someone breaks into my home and I rape them, I do less time in jail than if I were to shoot them and not kill them, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because
Like, are we living in cuckoo land? Like,
that's the whole thing is
You
we
know?
are. We literally right now are living in a fucking world that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Our values as Americans is being diminished every day.
Yep. It really is.
After watching the show Yellowstone, and I urge people who watch us, listen, just watch that show with an open mind and you'll get a sense of why it's so crucial that we are able to own property, pay for, owning things and protecting our property, protecting our families. These are core American values. And like I said, hey, the cops can only do so much.
Yeah.
But when it comes into your community and you're a good person, that's why Kyle Rittenhouse, that was a whole sore topic that people just lost their shit over. Because, you have people who believe that, you know what? If you remove police in your community in a violent riot, you're going to have people who are going to step up and be like, this is my fucking community. I'm taking measures into my own hands now.
Yep.
So if the cops are not doing it and the cops are struggling going through it, when they're losing, they're getting police officers shot, 22-year-old kid, police officer was murdered. Hey, we have a problem here.
Yep.
You have a problem.
Got a huge problem going on.
And they want to play politics and go back and forth. He's like, oh, there's no room for dialogue. Yeah, well, you know what, Mayor? Step up and actually do something about it.
Yeah.
Come out with a plan. They all say these speeches where it's all political theater. And I can, I'm not saying that he probably doesn't feel some type of way that he's upset someone has passed away. But I want to see if you're going to talk and say, hey, listen, we need to do something, come up with a plan.
They always be like, oh, talk to Washington. But I'm like, this is your city, man. Like, you got to, buckle down and figure something out.
Look at Rudy Giuliani. There was a big problem with organized crime in New York City during the 70s and 80s. That was the heydays for organized crime, the underworld. And what did he do? He took them all down. He destroyed them because he had a plan.
Yep.
And he was figuring out a way to go about it.
Yeah. He was knocking on doors in Chinatown, stopping guns, drugs, scams, fraud. He was stopping forfeit goods. He was stopping prostitution. Giuliani, he got some arrests under his belt.
Yeah. Come up with a task force.
Yeah.
We could do it with terrorists.
Yeah.
Overseas in a foreign country.
Right.
We can't do it here. Come up with a task force. Who has the weapons? Follow them. Follow these gun runners into the city. Come up with a plan. Come up with a vision and enact on it. Stop talking. These politicians, all they do is talk. They're not figuring it out because it's going to get worse. People will start fighting back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm waiting for, honestly? I'm waiting for the day. You ever seen these auditors that go into police stations and public places? Some of them carry their weapons with them. Some of them don't. And they're just there to just push. They're just egging on like, oh, it's my constitutional right. Well, I'm waiting for one of these days for one of those auditors for something to happen. Because
You're
it's
like talking like cop watchers.
Yeah, like Long Island Audit and all those other guys. Like you're not helping. Yes, you want to flex that you have your constitutional rights. I get it, man, but you're not helping. You're making this situation worse. The police have bigger things to deal with than you and your camera, right? So stop wasting their time. You want to make a difference? Make a difference somewhere else. Help the community. Don't set on your own selfish, this is my right, and I want to make sure they're upholding the law. No.
Yeah.
Help somewhere else.
And like you said, the police has to start working with the communities more. Okay. Yes, there's only so much they can do. But the police community as well needs to start filling people from the inner city.
Yep.
Okay, because that's a huge problem.
That's another big problem.
That's a big problem. When you have police officers patrolling an area that they're not aware about. So they went to the academy, graduated from the academy, was sent to an area that they are completely removed from. That they think everyone's a threat. And that is crucial.
Stick someone in their own neighborhood. Put them where they belong.
Hire from within.
Yep. I feel more like your old neighborhood, our neighborhood, we got kids that we went to high school with that are officers. They've pulled us over. We've had a conversation. We've gotten tickets before, but it's a level of respect.
Yeah.
And
they know you.
And they know you.
They know you guys are not.
They know where to go. They know where the bad stuff happens. They know where the bad houses are, the bad areas are. They know who's and who's good. Why can't that happen? Put people in where they belong.
They got to do that in the inner city, man. Because you're going to be throwing all these kids that are not from those areas, they're from like the suburbs and stuff, into New York City. They don't know anyone.
You can't throw a guy that is 22 years old, right, from Long Island into the Bronx. He's not going to know a thing.
No.
He's not going to know anything. He's not going to know anyone, nothing.
And he's gonna become closer to the other people who are from Long Island, right? He's gonna be partnered with those people. He's gonna form a relationship with these people, and these people have the same vision. These people are animals,
Right.
They're all animals.
Right.
They're not. There's some good people in New York City.
Right.
Yeah.
We only tend to see the bad of New York City.
But I think it's exactly what you just said. It's because they're putting people in places that they aren't aware of the community. So they have that disconnect. So they don't want to get to know the mom and pop shop, the laundromat guy, the guy who delivers papers, this guy who just sits on the corner every day. You know, like all those people could be completely harmless if you just knew who they were.
Where your family came from, where our family came from, back in the day, the guys who was walking the beat were from the neighborhood. They knew you by your name, and they told you, if you fuck up, I'm going to your parents.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, there's tons of stories that my father says, like, you knew, like, we used to have a guy, and his name was Joe the Cop. He knew you. He knew if you should have been in class.
Yeah.
And he'll go and grab you and take you to your parents' house and be like, I saw your son hanging out by the park.
Yep.
That's policing. That's being a community leader.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have kids who look up to people like that. You know, people who can talk to you a certain way, not talk down to you, not, you know, be disrespectful. That can have actually, then you have, you know, people who are just very disrespectful that completely hate cops.
Yeah.
And those are, you know, other people that for whatever reason, maybe it was because they seen cops do things to them or whatever. But we have to try to eliminate these bad seeds because there are some. So to say like all cops are great cops is it's not it because there are some bad ones.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of them in my life.
It's like with any type of thing, whatever. You have your good apples, you have your bad apples. In every little community or organization or whatever, that's how it is. Like you have the bad and you have the bad and then the good.
But the whole bringing, you know, people from Jersey, Connecticut, upstate New York, Long Island into a community they just don't know about. They're going to think, you know, like a crackhead is just an animal, a criminal, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I've known people who were on drugs that deep down to their core were not bad people.
Yeah.
They were just junkies,
Yeah.
you know?
They're harmless.
And I've seen cops mess around with those type of people. Like, you know, busting balls.
Yep.
And that's not cool. The guy needs help.
Yeah.
You know, so it's tough. I mean, this topic is like the hardest topic to talk about because there's no real solution on how to make things better.
2022 sucks.
Yeah.
I think we've said this every single year for the past like 3 years, but 2022 sucks.
Yeah.
You know, we lost this fine young gentleman, Bob Saget, Betty White, now Meatloaf, Louis Anderson. Rest in peace to them all.
Oh yeah, Billy Anderson. I forgot about that.
Crazy, man. Crazy. You know.
And it's going to get bad. It's not, you know, with the way the economy's going, people out of work. Yeah, you think crime is high? Let me tell you something. People,
Chill Boy just brought it up.
desperation is on the rise.
Chill Boy just brought it up. Stock market's not doing too good.
Yeah, for like the past 2 days, I think I've been seeing like things on like the stock market.
Cryptocurrency is down a lot.
Oh yeah, like the cryptocurrencies are like I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
Microsoft buys out a company or proposes to buy a company. Sony stock goes down 13%. Like the hell?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like nuts. It's crazy, bro. Like
What a time to be alive.
like all the big ones down red and it was just like across the board. Like it was like crazy seeing in the past 2 days and stuff.
And this is where you see the inflation, and you're going to see the bubble will be bursting.
I had a coworker make a funny statement the other day because they were talking about our new pay increase is 2%. He goes, "That's funny. Inflation's 6%."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like,
And then you have people who are unemployed. A lot of people don't want to work. Okay. You have the great resignation, unemployed, inflation. Go to the grocery stores. There's a lot of things that are not in stock. Having problems with electronics, chips. All these things are factors. So people are now going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to save my money." And also, if you're just printing cash
Oh yeah,
out of thin air,
that's another thing too.
what do you think? It's not real then. The economy's not real.
Yeah.
Let's just keep printing money. Yeah, that's a smart idea. I'm telling you, man.
make more.
I don't like to let people live in fear, but it's true. What's going on is just bullshit, and this is because the government has failed the people.
It's like crazy, bro. Like it's like a domino effect right now. There's a whole bunch of things going on, like the stock market, cryptocurrencies. Now I'm hearing the real estate now. That crash is going to be happening really, really soon. It was supposed to be like a year or two out. It's starting to flip now.
Yeah.
It's starting to flip very, very soon. In a couple of months, it's going to be more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. So, like that, there's going to be a whole housing market crash happening
Again.
soon.
Yeah, because there's a bubble since 2008.
Yep.
We didn't learn our lessons.
And especially, too, with everything that happened with the pandemic and all that, everyone was trying to move, get out of like these highly populated areas, this and that. I think it made it come faster and whatnot.
That's why people are running to the metaverse. They don't want to. They don't want to live in this world.
You know what my advice is? My advice is if you find something you enjoy, if you find something that you love, do it. Just do it. Yeah, you need money to survive, but at this point, man, go to your job. But if you have hobbies, if you love to, do art, draw, whatever your hobby is, whatever you love, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, because we have lost our way.
Yeah.
We've lost it.
Yeah.
And, family, if you're working too much, don't work too much. Because companies really don't care about you.
At the end of the day, they don't.
You're replaceable. Everyone's replaceable. So enjoy the moments you have with your family. Enjoy the things that you love to do, that you look forward to
Just
doing.
enjoy life.
And if you can get paid for it, hey, man, you're living the dream.
That's it.
That's it. Because at the end of the day, these people, these politicians, they care about themselves. They care about putting money in their pockets. Investing in stock markets.
Don't
making millions and millions of dollars.
Don't buy don't buy Pokemon cards.
Oh boy.
Get out of here with that.
Nah, but it's just crazy. It's all happening before our eyes. All these little different things left and right. Like,
and especially with our age group, because we've seen a lot. We went through a lot.
yep.
2008 financial crisis, or the financial crash, the collapse of the housing market. We didn't really feel the effect of that because we were still young. We were 17, 18 years old, maybe 19. And we really didn't have a job. We didn't really invest our money or whatever. We didn't feel the effects like our parents did, but we will.
Yep.
We are. It's coming. Because what happened, you had a bubble, right? Right, you had a bubble, right? They helped out. They gave money. They gave these stimulus, these cash injections to these companies, right? So the bubble went from here to here, and they're like, "Oh, we're good. We're good. The bubbles. There's no bubble. We're fine." That fucking ceiling, that bubble expanded, and when that fucking burst, the effects is gonna be catastrophic.
Bro,
I'm not trying to be a fear monger.
It's gonna be
I'm really
nuts.
not.
Hurry up and buy.
I'm not.
just
But
reality.
if you're following from the steps from 2008, everybody has been saying there's going to be a crash and it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Yep.
And we keep printing out money.
It's just wild, bro. It's just wild, man.
Hurry up and buy.
Like I'm like surprised with like the crypto stuff. Like
That's
down.
strange. It's very
I
strange.
don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because
Well, the crypto is volatile though too as well. So it's like
Yeah, but
if the stock. So do you think that the crypto market is actually mirroring the stock market as well?
Ooh, could be.
possibility, maybe. I think. I don't know.
Because in a sense, crypto is not really universal in the sense that everyone accepts crypto.
yeah, especially all these other countries banning it and stuff.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the stock market is actual tangible currency that everybody acknowledges.
Mm-hmm.
So if the stock market's crashing or the stock market's going down and it's doing bad, then who's really...
Yeah, I really
Right.
don't know. And they're calling it the Black Friday sale of crypto and stuff. So I'm assuming it's going to bounce back up.
Probably.
But
Most likely.
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, like you have like China and Russia, they banned cryptocurrencies. I think also too it says the dip of Wall Street because Wall Street the numbers went down, so it's going to affect crypto as well.
But also, I think people don't care if these countries ban it.
Oh yeah,
The whole point is to be decentralized.
Yeah. I don't care.
Do the governments know that? Do they know that? No, these are the same people who just print out money. You know? Yeah. Let's ban it.
It's crazy.
They don't care.
Out of touch with reality.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
It's crazy. Yeah, everyone's saying in all these articles that it has to do in lieu with like the Wall Street dip.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like so weird. Like, I don't know.
You know who must be doing good right now?
Oh,
The Amish.
oh God.
They ain't got nothing to worry about. Chilling. Horses, buggies.
I don't know.
They're straight chilling.
I would try to like buy some now
By now.
of the cryptos, to be honest, because it's definitely gonna go back up.
Thank you for tuning in to another fun-filled episode of the Last Slice podcast. Bodega Cat, Trillboy, and Jimbo the Kid. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also on YouTube on the DOUGHBOYZ Network. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Anything helps us out. And also check out Trillboy's Twitch streams. I believe it's Trillboy15 at Twitch.
It's twitch.tv/Trillboy15.
Yeah, you'll see us pop up every now and then there.
Subscribe helps us out
Yeah.
and continue growing this podcast channel.
If you got anything you want us to talk on, just don't forget to comment. You know, if you like us in your morning ears, your ear canals, you want that ASMR, just comment down below. We'll talk about anything. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We'll do it.
Yep.
Do it.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in to The Last Slice. We'll see you next time.
Peace.